Have you ever felt like you just can't get someone out of your head? Maybe this happens right before you fall asleep, when everything seems calm, but your mind isn't. That person appears in your thoughts without you having called them, over and over again, as if their presence were tied to yours in a way you don't yet understand. It may not even be someone you have daily contact with, but there they are, in your most intimate thoughts, invading your moments of silence, your spaces of reflection, and you wonder, why? Why this person, of all the people I know, won't leave my mind? The truth is, this is not just a coincidence. It's not a simple whim of your subconscious. This type of recurring thought has a deeper meaning, something that goes far beyond what the rational mind can explain. If you stay with me until the end of this video, I'll help you understand the spiritual meaning of thinking about someone, not just to decipher what's happening, but also how mental connections can be guided by energies that are not physical. Now imagine what would happen if you could understand the hidden message behind these thoughts. The answer may surprise you. Before diving headfirst into this topic, I want you to take a moment to think about the person you can't get out of your mind. Close your eyes for a second and visualize them, or maybe something more inexplicable. What you're feeling in this moment is the key, because our emotions are one of the channels through which the universe speaks to us. But what is the universe trying to tell us when it sends someone to us in this way, when a person is constantly present in our thoughts? To understand this better, I want to tell you a story. It was a grey autumn afternoon. The wind was gently blowing through the trees, and the leaves were falling as if time itself was slowing down. Inna, a 35-year-old woman, was sitting in a cafe, distractedly watching people walk by on the street. For weeks, she had been feeling restless, as if something was missing in her life. It wasn't a lack of resources or love, but something deeper, something she couldn't even put into words. But there was one constant in her thoughts, an old university friend, someone she hadn't spoken to in years, and suddenly she couldn't stop thinking about him. At first, Anna tried to ignore it. She thought it was just a coincidence, that her mind was playing with memories from the past. But the thoughts persisted. Every day, no matter what she was doing, the image of her friend came back to her mind. There was something about him that made her uneasy, as if there was something pending, something unresolved between them, though she couldn't remember exactly what. Finally, one night, while trying to sleep, Anna had a revelation. Those thoughts weren't just hers. They were a sign, a message from the universe trying to guide her towards something she didn't yet fully understand. And that's how the universe works. Often the people we can't stop thinking about aren't there by chance. They're there because there's something we need to learn from them, something our souls must understand. It could be that this person is meant to play an important role in your life, or maybe they already have, but you didn't properly close the cycle. On a spiritual level, all our connections, all the people who come into our lives have a purpose. And when someone occupies so much space in our minds and becomes a constant presence, we must ask ourselves, what is the universe trying to tell me? On the spiritual plane, everything is connected. Every thought, every feeling, every person who appears in our life has a meaning, a purpose. And this type of connection, where we constantly think about someone, is especially powerful. These connections are guided by energies that go beyond what we can see or touch. Maybe that person is experiencing something similar. Maybe both of you are connected on an energetic level that isn't visible to the naked eye. But before going deeper into this, I want to talk about something fundamental: the law of attraction. The law of attraction teaches us that whatever we focus our attention on, whatever we think about intensely, tends to manifest in our reality. In other words, our thoughts are a form of energy, and that energy has the power to attract people, situations, and experiences that align with our vibrations. If you're constantly thinking about someone, it's possible that this energy is attracting that person to you, whether on the physical or spiritual plane. But here's where things get interesting. Thinking about someone doesn't always mean you should approach that person or pursue a relationship. Sometimes the people who occupy our thoughts are there to show us something about ourselves, to reflect some part of our life that we haven't yet worked on or fully understood. It could be that this person represents an aspect of you that you are denying, or maybe it's a sign that there's an unresolved issue you need to address. Imagine for a moment that our mind is like a mirror. Each person we think about is a reflection of something we carry within us. Thinking constantly about someone might be an invitation to look within yourself, to reflect on what this person is teaching you. Ask yourself, what is this person showing me about myself? Why do they appear in my mind again and again? What lesson or message is the universe bringing to me through this constant thought? In many spiritual traditions, people talk about soulmates or kindred souls. These are people with whom we share a deep spiritual connection, a connection that transcends time and space. You may have known them in past lives, or maybe you're destined to meet in this life to fulfill a joint mission. Sometimes these people appear in our thoughts because our souls are seeking to reunite, because there is something we need to learn or experience together. Other times, they are there to teach us an important lesson, a lesson that may be painful, but is necessary for our growth. But here comes the deeper reflection. How can we tell if thinking constantly about someone is a sign from the universe or just an unresolved emotional need? It's important that you learn to differentiate what comes from the soul and what comes from the ego. The ego often seeks control, external validation, while the soul seeks evolution, growth, genuine connection. When you find yourself constantly thinking about someone, ask yourself, does this thought bring me peace or restlessness? Do I feel that there's something I need to learn from this person? Or is it simply a desire to fill an emotional void? Personal and spiritual development is a path full of signs, and those signs often come through the people who appear in our lives, whether physically or mentally. Thinking about someone constantly is an opportunity to deepen your own growth, an opportunity to ask yourself questions you may never have asked before. What am I really seeking in this person? What part of me is seeking to be healed or understood? You can release these thoughts with gratitude, knowing that you've learned what you needed to learn. Because at the end of the day, the universe is always working in our favor, guiding us toward the people and experiences we need for our spiritual growth. And before continuing with this exciting video, I want to introduce you to the following. Our book, Your Higher Self, is already available in the first comment of this video. There you'll find the purchase link and all the information. This is not just a book. It's a journey of self-discovery where you'll learn to reprogram your mind, to change your entire surroundings and all aspects of your life. You will learn to feel fulfilled like never before. Your higher self, a deeper connection. Now I want you to think again about that person who has been on your mind. What do you feel now? If this video helped you better understand what you're experiencing, I'd love for you to leave a comment below sharing your experience. Have you ever thought constantly about someone and later realized there was a deeper meaning behind those thoughts? I'm sure your story can help others going through the same thing. And before I say goodbye, I want to invite you to subscribe to this channel. Here we talk about spirituality, personal development, the laws of the universe, and how we can apply all of that to live a fuller, more conscious life. If this topic resonated with you, if you feel that you're on a path of growth and discovery, subscribe so we can keep exploring together. Remember, the connections we feel are not coincidences. Everything has a purpose. And when we pay attention to these signs, we discover that life is always guiding us towards something greater. So I'll see you in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe. We're in this journey together, and each step we take brings us closer to understanding who we are and what our purpose is in this vast universe. If you made it this far, I congratulate you. You are one of the few people with the ability to maintain focus. And for me to know that you got here, comment, "I am awake," and I'll greet you personally in the comments. See you next time.